What's up, everybody? Puck Mike here, back with another video, and back with episode 5 of the Puck Mike Show, connecting hockey cards to hockey news. Be sure to check out our playlist and podcast, the Puck Mike Show, a weekly show discussing the latest and greatest hockey card news, featuring key segments like Around the League, the top news stories around the world of hockey and their impact on the hockey card market, the Card Report, card-centric hockey card news, weekly pack breaks, and so much more. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me, and don't forget to check out my other channel at Card Zoo Sports Cards, where I share my experience selling mostly low-end sports cards on eBay. On today's show, we are going to open the show with some opening thoughts about an experience I had this past weekend. We're going to be going around the league, looking at the top news stories around the world of hockey and their impact on the hockey card market. We'll be looking at last week's highest and lowest selling cards according to eBay's own TerraPeak Insights tool. In our segment called Needle Movers, we will give you your weekly dose of the Card Report. We'll have this week's player spotlight, and then we'll jump around YouTube and see what's going on with hockey card channels around the world of YouTube, followed by a quick look ahead at what products might be coming out this month. So, starting off, like I said, some opening thoughts. I went to my first live hockey game in probably, I honestly don't know how many years, probably 10 years, 9 years. And, I love hockey, hence why I'm doing this podcast. I grew up going to the Pittsburgh Penguins games at the old Civic Arena, which is no longer there. Now it is the new PPG Paints Arena, I believe. And, I just remember as a kid going to the games and just how magical it was, being close to the ice, seeing the hockey. I loved hockey as a kid, played hockey as a kid, and still play hockey every now and then. But being the first live game that I went to in a long time, and, I'm based out of Nashville, Tennessee, so this was not a Penguins game, unfortunately. This was a Nashville Predators game. So before all my fellow Penguins fans start attacking me, I did not wear a Preds jersey. Still a Pens fan, always will be. But had a chance to go to the game. Was so much fun. I almost had this going back to that wow factor as a kid. Very similar to the same experience I had when I opened my first pack of hockey cards in probably 20 years. A few years ago when I got back into the hobby and started this whole adventure. So really just got me thinking about the whole experience, just hockey in general and collecting in general. And I guess the moral of the story here is, do what you love. And if you haven't done something in a while that you love, go ahead and do it now. I got a call from a buddy saying, hey, I got an extra ticket to the game. Do you want to go? I was kind of like, got to go downtown and deal with parking, all that stuff. But it was a great experience, just being close to the ice. That never gets old for me. So if there's something you love that you haven't done in a while, go ahead and do it right now. So wanted to open the show with some opening thoughts on that, and now we will jump into our first segment, which is Around the League, looking at some of the top news stories around the world of hockey and seeing if any impact has been had on their cards in the marketplace, particularly on eBay. First up is our Arizona Coyotes, which will probably, I didn't even check the news before I did this. They probably might have announced it already. We know what's happening. The players have been told that the Coyotes are going to move to Salt Lake City. And, it's kind of like what are they going to play in even if they get this arena, it's not going to be built in 2 or 3 years. So they're going to play in the college arena for 3 more years. I'm not going to get into did the ownership know and did the NHL know and all that stuff. What I want to talk about is, a point that I made on last week's show or the show before that about a friend of mine asked me, do cards have any more value if a player played for a team for a short time and then there's only a few cards of that player in that uniform? And it kind of ties into this because now that we know the Coyotes are probably going to be moving, do cards of players if you look at Logan Cooley, I actually just sold one of his cards for $10, one of those rookie card inserts, I forget what it was called, out of 23-24 Series 2. I think it was Series 2. Do those cards hold any more value in the sense because they're more rare? I think the Coyotes will probably come back. It sounds like they're going to be given an option to come back to Arizona at some point, but there hasn't been that many cards out there for those young Josh Doan. I don't think he doesn't, because we did a spotlight on him, and I don't know if we did a spotlight, but we talked about him, and he had just the stickers from Topps. I don't even know if he has a card. So Is he going to get a card in an upcoming Upper Deck product? And is that going to be his only card in a Coyotes uniform? Like, from a either investment or collector standpoint, that's going to be kind of cool to have. So I thought that was interesting, but I do want to look at, Logan Cooley's UD Canvas Young Guns and just kind of see, like, what it's been doing in terms of just some. I mean, look at 4.6 to 4.13. He sold 15 of those, and I think the news broke it was around the 14th, I think, is when I thought it was around the 14th when all this kind of it would be way sooner than that. I kind of just wanted to see what it was doing. So we have the 6th. We have a little bit of a jump here on the 12th. So it's not nothing too crazy. It looks like it's going up a little bit though. Total sales. He doesn't have an official Young Guns. Well, I should say he doesn't have a regular base Young Guns or whatever you want to call it. He just has the canvas. This one sold for 70. This is a black. So we got a little bit of a jump here. I think when this news started, as if that's coincidental, I don't know. But you can get one for, if you're collecting, you can get one for, well, these are the checklist. Those are not anything exciting. This one, sold for auction for $16. So this might be, one of the few cards you're going to get of Logan Cooley. Not saying this is his only one. I don't know that, to be honest, off the top of my head, but in a Coyotes uniform, so if they move to Salt Lake. So pretty cool stuff there. I mean, definitely wanted to talk about that and just kind of, share that. I think that they're going to move, and I don't know if we know what the team name is yet, but it's pretty, I think it's kind of exciting, to be honest. I know the owners are not going to complain, right? Because they have a lot of money coming their way. So anyway, moving on. What I want to talk about now is just a quick look at the playoff picture coming up here with this is according to sports. This is BetMGM. I don't do any sports betting, but they had a bracket, and I think that it's updated. Yeah, 16th. This is the only one I could find that was in bracket format. So if the playoffs started tomorrow, we're looking at Bruins, wild card, Capitals, and Penguins. They need a lot of help tonight. They need to lose. They need basically the Capitals and the Red Wings to lose in any fashion, both of them tonight, and they need to win tomorrow against the Islanders. So not looking good for them, but you got Panthers going against the Maple Leafs. That'll be a good series. I would say Panthers 4-2 in that one. In that series, Hurricanes and Islanders, that's going to be good because Hurricanes do have a lot more star power now, scoring power. Jake Gensel, I think, than they did last year. Rangers and Lightning, that'll be a really good one. I wouldn't be surprised if Lightning win that. Going into the West, Canucks, Knights, Jets, Avalanche, Stars, Predators, Oilers, and Kings. So I mean, this is going to be a really good. The Knights and Canucks, that's going to be killer. It's going to be a really good playoff hockey starting real soon. Predators and Stars, man, that's going to be. Preds they're tough. They turned it on here late in the season, so going to be some really cool stuff coming up. And this is also an interesting time of year too for collecting because players, you get a lot of things that are resolved in terms of, like, if you know for sure like a player is going to be traded next year, like, their contract's up this summer, they didn't make the playoffs, the team's not going to re-sign them, so they're going to be on a new team next year. Does that make a lot of cards kind of the dollar amount increase in the market? Does that people are going to sell those cards, or people are going to go after those cards more? So something to pay attention to if you're collecting cards of a player or team that where the contract is up, or like I said, the Coyotes situation or anything like that, or a player you think is going to be traded over the summer. Something to keep an eye on for your collection in terms of what's going on with those players. But next up on our Around the League segment is Mr. Lane Hutson. Entry-level contract signed with the Montreal Canadiens. And he was a second-round pick, 62nd overall in the 2022 entry draft. I think he's only a sophomore at Boston University. So I'm guessing he just is skipping the rest of it and going to the NHL. Why not, right? What I'm confused about here is, I'm going to look at his cards on here. What I'm confused about is when we looked at Colin Graff, who was an NCAA player that signed with San Jose, I saw nothing, 0 cards. And I mentioned during that, I was like, there's got to be like some type of college card that was released. There was nothing for him. Nothing. Maybe just nothing on eBay. I don't know. But there is actually a couple cards here for, if you look from this was before the news broke that he was signed, 4th to the 11th. There's a couple cards. But then if we jump to the 12th, which is after we learned that he signed the contract, we can even go to yesterday, and go to trading card singles. I think we're going to see 24 sold. I mean, this is no coincidence, guys. And I'm not doing this, I don't want this to be an investment channel. I have my Cards View Sports Cards eBay channel with that. So when I show these numbers, we get into a little bit of what you should maybe buy and sell if you want. And there's a little bit of overlap anyway in the hobby. But ultimately, I want to look at this from a collecting perspective. If you're wanting to collect this player now, there seems like there's a lot more supply out there. You might have to pay a little bit more, but a lot of these cards are starting to pop up. So, if you collect team sets, even Canadians team sets or NCAA players, people get so specific with their collections. I only collect NCAA players that haven't been drafted, that are signed to a Canadian team. I mean, people get very specific, a good chance to go on eBay. I mean, the lowest price here, is $9.99 or something for, this is the World Junior Championship. But I thought I saw one, Boston University. Yeah, there's like a university card. Yeah, so that's the Team USA. I swear I saw a Boston University one. These are all USA. NCAA. Maybe this one's it. Yeah, so I mean, that's USA too. So maybe my theory is still correct in that NCAA play. No, there you go. Boston University. So I was wondering why there was nothing like this for Colin Graff, and because I didn't see any when we did there might be something that popped up there now, but when we did the search, I didn't see anything. So, and those ones are only $8. So, I mean, that's kind of cool if you want to get some of those cards. So, check it out. Really cool stuff. He, I think, already debuted, I believe, with Montreal, which is kind of cool. All right, and then last up here before we move on to needle movers is after a 2-year exclusion, the CHL announced that on April 5th, Russian and Belarusian players will be eligible for the 2024 import draft on July 3rd. Honestly, didn't even know this draft occurred. The CHL said they'll be able to play as long as they're granted the necessary visa they need to enter and play in North America. That said, the Canadian-Russia series, the CHL used to host between the all-star teams from the OHL, QMJHL, and WHL, and Russian is permanently canceled. Okay, so okay, so that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, so the CHL, I guess, imports players from these different countries. When the whole the war with Ukraine and Russia started, I think there was a block to that, and so they said they're opening it back up to those players. And I honestly had to research. I was like, how old are the players even in the CHL? I think it's 16 to 20 years old. So I mean, we could be talking about players. I would assume that could be 18, 19, or 20. Which is kind of interesting because I feel like once you get to the CHL, you're still a long way from the NHL. I feel like I don't know of anybody off the top of my head now that it's never been done that goes from CHL to draft players, top draft picks do, I'm sure, but. There's a long layer of like development and all these different leagues and stuff you have to go through to get to the NHL sometimes. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. If we look at, I'm trying to think of what players fall into that range, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But there's a lot of players that were part of that draft that are in the NHL right now. I want to say Nikita Kucherov. I can't remember though. But yeah, so pretty cool stuff. And then, I think we'll move on now to our next segment called Needle Movers, where I look at the highest and lowest sales on eBay of the past week under our hockey card search. According to eBay's Terapeak product insights, just going to get our reaction here to see what sold and keep our pulse on its McDavid pretty much every single time, right? Leading the way, $12,800 for a number to $9.99 Gem Mint 10 Future Watch autograph. Pretty cool looking card. Man, it doesn't even look the same, huh? Looks very different now. Of course, he's got a beard now. We got a 79.80 Gretzky, and I do have a bit about when we go into the card report about the unopened case of 7980 OPC with the alleged Gretzky's inside. So, ooh, got a little baseball here. We'll check that out. Why not? A 3. I always love seeing these old grades on, or these low grades on these older cards. Man, that is a cool card. Yeah, pretty cool. Sidney Crosby, patch auto. That's 3,000. Another Gretzky. Another Ovi. What else we got? More Ovies and Gretzky's. A lot of Lafreniere. Clear cut Young Guns exclusives. Man, that's a nice pull. 9.5 out of Beckett. Where's the number? I thought exclusives were numbered. UD exclusives. Looks like a gold almost. Usually I thought exclusives were numbered. I guess not in this case, unless I'm losing my eyesight. Let's jump down to Connor Bedard, of course. Oh man, look at that. That is pretty awesome. That looks like one of the ones that Zeree pulled on YouTube. I wonder what Zeree's eBay. I know he sells stuff on eBay. I wonder what his eBay hand was. I don't know if he has it in his profile. We always run into these 1 cent, 1 cent. I always like looking at these to see, some of these is not really 1 cent because these shipping, this is not really accurate, but this one's only $1.12. I wouldn't have put that for auction. No one's gonna make a bid on that. $1.50 on a Caprice. Yeah, see, PCs, these aren't cards you really want to put for auction, guys. Well, this one looks kind of cool. Look at that. What was the shipping on that? $5.25. Jeez. Out of $4.99. That's a really cool looking card, actually. Actually, I like the background of this more than I like the the card. Pierre-Olivier Joseph. I mean, yeah, I would never put this for auction. And I would also never sign him. I think his contract's coming up. Hopefully the Penguins don't re-sign him. He's kind of just terrible in my opinion. But all right, that's another edition of Needle Movers. Let's move on to our next edition of the Card Report. So, National Hockey Card Day, as I mentioned before, was the 13th. I wanted to go to some local shops here in Nashville. I didn't get to go, but had some other stuff going on. But there is Bedard in that pack, and there is just the base ones selling for about $7 on eBay. Nothing crazy, which I'm actually surprised about, that maybe the Bedard prices have cooled. Especially now that their season's pretty much, it's almost done, right? Or they might have finished it already. And then this is what I talked about earlier. So the auction winner of the unopened 7980 OPC cards, I guess, changed his mind. CBC confirmed that Ontario-based real estate agent Jack Arshosky won the auction for a case of containing thousands of unopened 7980 OPC brand hockey cards. The set that contains Wayne Gretzky's rookie card. I think they estimated there was, I forget how many in the set there. He won the auction for $3.72 million US. However, Arshosky says he has not paid the full amount for the cards yet, so they remain in the auction house's vault. Quote from Arshosky: "I am not so passionate about it as I've seen like other people in the sports collecting world, like how they're so into it, and it's like their lives kind of revolve around it." Then why did you bid on it, bro? The greatest one, let's see, rookies. Oh, I think that's what he said. Here we go. He said he's reached out to the likes of Canadian rapper Drake, NHL team owners, and Wayne Gretzky's family. Why would Wayne Gretzky want to buy these? To see if they might want to own the cards. NHL team owners. This is funny. I mean, I wish I had $3.72 million to casually bid on at an auction and then change my mind. I mean, you're allowed to do that? I didn't know you were allowed to do that. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's not super. He already owns. There's a picture of him holding one. He already owns a 7980 Gretzky. I guess he's just decided he's not that much into it. There's other people that are into it. I don't know. I didn't think of this as I was planning this video, but as I'm talking, like, it kind of just seems he was like, wow, I didn't realize all these people are reaching out to me. I didn't realize I could probably sell this for a lot more. Hey, he's a millionaire for some reason, so he's probably thinking with his business mind. But interesting stuff there. We'll see what happens. We'll have to keep tabs on that and see if he ends up having to pay that. I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know. I guess it goes back to auction again, right? I don't know. I doubt Gretzky's going to be like, yeah, here's $3 million for my own cards. He probably already has one, right? And then more on Hockey Card Day. I'm kind of jumping around a bit between these different topics. Players' Choice Sports Cards and Collectibles welcomes more than 1,200 customers in Kelowna for Hockey Card Day in Canada. Now, I did see they were doing a lot of different stuff, though. I think they were doing like some games and like almost like a scavenger hunt or something like that, and they haven't done those in the past, so I think they really tried to capitalize on that and get people in the store. So I mean, hey, good for them if they got some sales on some other products too. And then Upper Deck decided to throw a curveball at the last minute for this and say Upper Deck announced on National Hockey Card Day, on Hockey Card Day, okay? Are you trying to kill everybody? That it included some autographs in the free promo packs. Oh yeah, we casually just put in some autographs of Connor Bedard. Forgot to mention that. And who signed a deal with Upper Deck last July. So that is kind of interesting. I didn't look on eBay to see. I didn't see any on eBay yet. But I mean, those are going to sell for more than $7 that the base unautographed version is selling for. So basically, if you're collecting Bedard, I don't think now is the time to do it. The best way to do it would have, if you're collecting just as a hobby and not to make money, the best way to do it would have been to go to as many hockey card shops as you could have on Hockey Day and get as many of those packs as you could have, because that would be your cheapest chance to get a Bedard. So, but we'll see. We'll keep tabs on that too, see what happens with those once they start popping up on eBay. So that's all I got for this week's edition of The Card Report. Moving on to this week's player spotlight. And, you know, I'm a Penguins fan. I don't want to make this too much about the Penguins this show, you know, but I got to talk about Sidney Crosby because, you know, the guy is 36 years old. I'm 36. I sleep the wrong way. I feel like I pulled a hamstring. And he's 36. He's in the NHL. 90 points this season, 90 or so points. He was just voted the most complete player, 5th year in a row. Got his 1,000th point. He's 10th now on the all-time list. And if we look at that list here on screen, I mean, you know, he's probably got 3 more years at least. If he scores 80 points in the last 3 years, that's 240 points. So he's almost at 1840. You know, he'll be, you know, and he might not. He's getting 37, but he ain't slowing down. Knowing him, he's going to speed up more. He'll be pushing. Catching Francis. I think he'll get definitely Yzerman. I think he'll catch him. Dion, possibly Francis and Howe, depending on how things go. I would love if he ended up at number 3. I don't see him catching Yager. But then again, keep in mind, we've assumed as Penguins fans, and a lot of not just Penguins fans, that his next deal is going to be a 3-year deal that takes him to 39 or 40, and then that's going to be it. I mean, he could play longer than that if he wanted. There's no doubt he could and still compete to some extent. We'll see. There's also part of me that's probably like, he probably don't want to. But then again, he's he's played hockey his entire life. So, I mean, he obviously loves it. So, yeah, I just wanted to highlight that and just really highlight what he's doing. You know, since I saw a stat the other day, like since March, I think he's been the NHL's leading point scorer. You know, we're talking about Matthews and his goals and McDavid and all these, you know, I'm pretty sure he's been the leading point scorer since March. He's been on a tear. The dude is 36. How old are those other dudes? So, I just think it's really something to highlight. It's kind of remarkable what he's doing on a Penguins team that kind of sucks. The supporting cast has been pretty terrible. So, wanted to look at some of his cards here just briefly and see maybe the highest. Now, of course, we're probably going to get a lot of variations in here. And okay, so yeah, he was one of the ones on the needle movers. So this was, man, that is a nice looking card. Look at that. Out of 97. I'd love, it's out of 87. It'd be nice to have the 87. 87 out of 87. 25. I mean, the cards are still bringing a good return. Really wish I was collecting during this time. There's the base. I don't like this design that much, to be honest. Under 2,000, so it'll tell us what it sold for here, 1,700. So I mean, really wish I was collecting during that time, but who am I kidding? It'll be just like Bedard all over again. Like I'm not going to pay $1,000 for Young Guns and all this stuff. But even some of the, you can get low end. I have some low end Crosby stuff. I mean, that I sell, and some of it I have, but I keep. But thought it would be good to highlight him. Not going to talk about the Penguins all the time, but I am going to talk about them a lot because they are my team, and I just thought it was, whether you like him or not, or like the Penguins or not, 36 years old, I think it's pretty remarkable what he's had a point per game season, 22 seasons? I think he tied Gretzky's record this year, so pretty insane. So moving on, we are going to jump around YouTube very quickly and see what has been going on with some channels around YouTube, starting off with Zeree, of course, opening anything and everything. Did this guy get an inheritance from somebody? Please tell me. I mean, well, now he's to the point where he's opened so much he can sell a lot of it and just kind of, it snowballs, I guess. But good, and he buys so much that people just probably give him cases, and he's got sponsorships. But starting out, I mean, I don't know what happened. Where'd you get the money, bro? Did you win the lottery? So anyway, he had a really nice Shane Wright pull out of the Wax Box Elite Gem Mint 10. Really, really nice card. In terms of Wright, honestly, if you're collecting Kraken cards or Shane Wright, I would say now is the time to do it. He's got sent back down so he can kind of play. I think his team is in the playoffs for AHL, but next year I fully expect him to get a roster spot. So those cards could jump in terms of prices. So if you're collecting his, you might want to check it out now and see what you can get. Snipe City cards, and Zeree actually opened a case of this as well. I saw it today, but I didn't watch that one. But Snipe City cards did Tim Hortons Greatest Duos box, which was released, I believe, yesterday. Those cards look pretty cool, so check that one out. Card Collector 255 had a really nice McDavid relic. I saw that one in there too. And then what else we got here? Zeree again. Oh, this is probably the best pull of the week. Zeree had a 1 of 1. It was insane. Owen Power Auto from 22-23 OPG. I mean, it was, I think he had it estimated, comped at like 4,000 or 5,000. Really cool card. I really wish Buffalo would make the playoffs. If nothing else, for these young players, and even for their cards, for goodness sakes. Oh man. It was a really awesome pull. Of course, you'll see the link on screen and you can go check it out, but great pull there. So that's it around YouTube. Really quickly, a look ahead at what's supposedly coming out. All these are placeholder dates, of course, and I don't see any. So this is Dave and Adam's card world, and usually once you see box breaks, once they start selling box break slots is when you start to see, is when it's kind of a guarantee that these are dates are coming out or firm. And tomorrow, Black Diamond 23, 24, 17th, there's no box breaks being sold here, so I don't really see that that's going to happen. But May, our CHL box, potentially we're going into July with a lot of these. The Connor Bedard set 24th, that one I kind of believe. This was a different picture the other day, so now that there's a new picture there, and now that they jumped it back just a week, I kind of believe that this actually would be revealed. And of course, it's only $65 or only, right? The other ones were $25 or $30 in the past, so of course more price increases for Bedard stuff. What else we got here? May 1st, we got some SPX. All these will all be bumped back most likely, but should see at least one product in May, one more product in April, I would hope. So there will be something to open. And of course, like I said, you have the Tim Hortons Greatest Duos if you want to check that out. That's it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out our playlist and podcast, The Puck Mike Show, a weekly show discussing the latest and greatest hockey card news, featuring key segments like Around the League, the top news stories around the world of hockey and their impact on the hockey card market, the card reports, card-centric hockey card news, weekly pack breaks, and so much more. Go ahead, guys, hit that subscribe button for me. Don't forget to check out my other channel at Cardzu Sports Cards, where I share my experience selling mostly low-end sports cards on eBay. Almost 1,000 subscribers on that channel, and halfway through the watch time requirement to monetize that channel as well. A little bit more behind on this channel, but really excited about being part of the hobby and also being part of it from a business and investment perspective on the other channel. So really appreciate the support. Thank you all so much for watching, and yeah, I'll check you later.